Right now, I'm in a city called Incheon, all by myself, and tomorrow I'll be starting my hitchhiking adventure from right here in South Korea all the way to South Africa. Now, usually I post short form content on Instagram and TikTok, but I need a bit more than a minute to explain everything that's been going on. So because of that, I decided to make this YouTube video. Let's start off with a recap. How exactly did I end up right here in South Korea? In case you don't know who I am, my name is Timo and I've been traveling the world on and off since 2018, working odd jobs along the way to fund my travels. In the beginning of last year, I found myself in the UK and I wanted to explore Africa. I didn't really know where to go, but when I opened a map, I noticed a city called Southampton. Straight away, I thought to myself, Southampton? South Africa? Those places sound similar enough. Could be fun to travel from one to the other. So that's exactly what I did, and as my mode of transport I decided that hitchhiking would be the best way to really experience the countries I'd be traveling through. In total, this 27,000 kilometer journey ended up taking 294 days. I traveled through 19 different countries and got picked up by more than 400 vehicles. Now initially I planned to do this journey alone, but then, just outside of Barcelona, I ended up meeting a Canadian girl named Courtney. And after telling her about my plan, I somehow convinced her to come with me. We had an absolutely amazing time together, but on December 1st, 2024, we finished our journey and both flew home from Johannesburg. We reunited with our families, spent a few months at home, and then, in March of this year, we both flew to Nepal to hike more than 400 kilometers with our friends Mitch and Stan. Mitch is currently attempting the world's longest and highest triathlon in the world, so when they invited us to come out and walk with them from Kathmandu to Everest Base Camp, we obviously had to join. After this journey, me and Courtney were meant to fly to South Korea to start our next journey, South Korea to South Africa. Just like last time, simply because it sounds funny. But unfortunately, during our time in Nepal, we argued a fair bit. As it turns out, spending this much time together with anyone can be quite intense, so we decided it's probably best for us to take a little break from each other. I flew to South Korea and Courtney ended up flying to China, and she's actually hitchhiking through the country right now. We're still friends, and I'm hoping we'll meet up again somewhere in the next few weeks and do the rest of the journey together. But yeah, as of right now, I'm here in Incheon all by myself, and my journey is starting tomorrow, so let's talk about how I'm planning on getting from right here in South Korea to South Africa. I've been here for about a week now, and I've had a great time exploring Seoul and its surroundings. The people here are lovely, but it's about time to get a move on. As I mentioned earlier, I'm currently in Incheon, and tomorrow I'll be walking 12 kilometers from here to the ferry terminal. You can't leave South Korea by land, so unfortunately this journey will have to start with a ferry. I did think about going down to the harbor and asking if anybody could take me on their boat to China, but because of the language barrier and the fact that this could literally take weeks, I decided to opt for the easy option and I booked a ferry to Dalian, China. Once I make it to China, the plan is to hitchhike for a few days straight, making my way down into the country until I manage to reunite with Courtney. We'll then turn around and head north, visiting some famous Chinese landmarks until we will eventually reach Mongolia. Mongolia is the world's least densely populated country, so hitchhiking around it will definitely be interesting. Maybe we'll get a horse, we'll see how it goes. After Mongolia, we're going to Russia. A country not many people travel to, but believe it or not, this is actually our easiest option. The two alternatives for heading west are either China or Myanmar. Myanmar is currently struggling with a civil war, and the borders are closed. And although the eastern part of China is fine to travel through, you can't actually travel to the western part of China without an organized tour. So because of all that, we'll have to go through Russia. In total, we'll have to travel more than 5,000 kilometers through Russia, which will be interesting, as my visa only allows me to stay for 16 days. But I am very much looking forward to exploring Russia, as it's not really something many people get to do. We'll then head down into Georgia, maybe Armenia too, and then Turkey. I don't really know much about these countries, but I'm sure it will be fun. Iraq might be slightly challenging from a visa point of view, as we'll be entering the country through the Kurdistan region, which requires its own visa. You can then, in theory, use that visa to travel the rest of Iraq, but apparently not everybody inside the country agrees, so that might be a bit challenging. However difficult that might be though, it'll be nothing compared to our next challenge, crossing from Saudi Arabia into Africa. There are plenty of options to get to Egypt, but from there you can't make your way south as Sudan is in the middle of a civil war. Because of this, we'll have to get a boat from either Djibouti or Eritrea, and you might think the easiest option will be to get a boat from Yemen. But Yemen is also in a civil war and the borders are closed, so again, that's not an option. The best scenario for us right now would be to find a boat from Jeddah to Djibouti. The only issue is that as far as I'm aware, passenger ferries between these two places don't exist. So if anyone watching this knows anyone at all who could potentially help us out, then please message me on Instagram. Another option would be to get a boat from Oman to Kenya. But again, no idea if this is possible, and even if it is, it means we'll be missing out on Djibouti and Ethiopia. And then the final option would be a flight from Jeddah to Djibouti, but I don't really want to do this as I would love to do the entire trip without flying. Whichever way we'll end up going, eventually we'll make our way down to Kenya and Tanzania, and in Tanzania we would love to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. After that we'll be so close, just a few more countries, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and then, hopefully around 10 months from now, we'll reach South Africa. That's the plan as of right now. It'll probably change a bit along the way, but yeah, now you know. Like I said before, Courtney's already hitchhiking through China. I'm starting my journey tomorrow. I'm very excited to be back, and I'll see you all very soon for day 1 of hitchhiking from South Korea to South Africa.